is having a fabulous summer. I figured that we're almost out of time, so I should probably do at least one summer theme bake. And I chose these adorable little flower-shaped rolls. Now, for those of you who have taken my class, this is going to seem pretty familiar. For those of you who have not, it may look a little intimidating at first, but trust me, this is actually a really easy technique. I will also be sharing my filling recipe, even though you can fill these in whatever manner you choose, either sweet or savory. So I will walk you through how to stuff and then shape these into these beautiful little flowers. So let's get started. So to make your stuffed flower buns, you're going to need one recipe of your milk bread, which I've separated into 8 equal portions. You'll need your filling. In this case, I already pre-separated my cream cheese filling. This is 4 ounces of cream cheese, which is half the box, along with 2 tablespoons of sugar, about 1 tablespoon of heavy cream, and then whatever herb or aromatic you would like to use. You can use just garlic, scallions, shallots, whatever you'd like, cooked, raw, however you would like them. In this particular case, I used sauteed garlic scapes. I'll also be brushing a little bit of garlic butter onto my dough as we go, just to give it a little bit of extra oomph. You'll also need a rolling pin and your prepared baking sheet. So we're going to start off by grabbing one of your buns. Ooh, they're still pretty warm. And we're just going to pat it somewhat flat. And I usually don't use gloves, I just happen to have them on today. For painting purposes. And then I'm just going to grab one of my little dollops of cheese. Actually, first, I almost forgot. Just a little bit of garlic butter on there, just to give a little bit more flavor. And then we can go ahead and put one of these. I did go ahead and refrigerate my cheese just so that it isn't completely soft. It gets a little bit difficult to make your bun work. We're going to pinch all the way around your bun, just like so. And then we're going to use the bun making technique that I showed you in class, which is flip this over and very gently in the palm, with the top of the bun resting on the palm of your hand, you're just going to slowly and gently move your roll in a circular motion, and it's just going to gently turn in a circle for you as you're doing this. And what ends up happening is your bottom turns out nice and tight. So let's take a look. Okay, we already have, it's pretty good, looking pretty good, but we still have a couple of holes. And there we go. All right, so that one is done, and what we're going to do now is we're going to take our rolling pin and gently, very gently, because we don't want all of your filling to spill out, flatten it. This is going to get your filling to spread on the inside of your roll. Now, your gluten will be a little bit tight at this point because you've just worked your bread, but that's not a big deal. And my little buns are too close, so I'm gonna have to move them. Okay. And there you go. So then you're going to take a bench scraper or knife, and you're going to leave an area in the middle, and you're going to gently cut 8 pieces. And I'm going to try to be as even as possible, but if you're not completely even, it's not a big deal. And right there, I'm out of room again. Oop, there we go, pull. All right, I'm gonna move this over to my pan just as it is, because it's easier to actually do this on parchment paper in the beginning rather than at the end. And now we're going to go ahead and flip over our petals. And you can go ahead and flatten them a little bit. I'm gonna do the heart shape method today. You can flip them over the same way if you want, but I'm gonna grab 2 and flip them in opposite directions. And then again, you can go ahead and flatten them a little bit so that they don't pop out. Now, as your bread is rising, you may find that your little flower petals pop back in or end up in very interesting combinations. So it's not a big deal, even if your bread has already risen. you go ahead and just gently pop these back into place before you put them in the oven. So there's one. I'll go ahead and do another one for you, and then I will get all the rest done and we can go ahead and put them out to rise. It is a warm day today. So grab your second bun. Now this is a pretty boring filling with regards to visual impact. It's just white on white, so you're not going to get a whole lot of interesting color, but you can use pesto, tomato sauce, all sorts of things in here that will give you a really nice color for those petals. All right, so put your filling in the middle, and I totally forgot to do this one with garlic butter, so I'll just put a little bit on the side, maybe a little on the top. And then squeeze it all together. Make sure you get all that filling inside, and we're gonna flip it over and do our little circular motion. Doesn't take long, and you just keep checking the bottom to see we're pretty much done. There's a little hole there. Go ahead and pinch any difficult areas together. Again, we're just wanting to make sure that the filling doesn't go flying out as soon as you put the rolling pin on it. Okay, rolling pin comes out, and now we flatten it. Now I find these are great rolls to make for the summertime. Everybody's super impressed. And again, you can either make them sweet or savory, just like most everything with your milk bread. All right, perfect. And there we are. So, bring our pan back. All right, so flip them inside. Just like so. Flatten them a little bit. Ooh, we got a lot of cheese in that section. All right. Oh, opposite way. There we go. And there. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and make my other 6 buns, and I will see you when it's ready to rise. Okay, so I have all my buns shaped at this point on my parchment. I did want to point out that I did have a couple of fails. This one started popping out on the side, the filling did, and this was just an epic fail. Totally everything went everywhere. And that just happens with these, depending on whether you have an air pocket inside or whatever. Sometimes the filling just explodes out, in this case, in an epic manner. And you can still put it together. It's still gonna taste fine. It's still gonna bake up fine. The filling in this one is not necessarily in the bun like it's supposed to be, but again, that might be the one that I eat myself later. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and take these outside. It's about 30 degrees today, so it should only take about 20 to 30 minutes for these to proof again. See you when it's time to bake. Okay, so our buns have been out for 20 to 30 minutes to proof. At this point, it is time to put a little bit of milk on top for browning. Now you can see that in my case, my petals stayed pretty much where they're supposed to. So I did not have to reconfigure anything. Now, typically I would be doing something a little more interesting again to finish off your buns, especially if they're savory. I'll frequently put some seeds in the middle to really mimic a flour. Typically that could be everything: bagel seasoning, it could be poppy seeds, sunflower seeds, various colored sesame seeds, but unfortunately here I only have 1-tone sesame seeds, so that's what it's gonna be today. All right, so we put a little bit of that milk on there. We'll just put a tiny sprinkling of seeds in the middle. and this would look a lot more interesting if it was a darker color. That spread all over. All right. No matter what, they're gonna look cute and people are going to think that you spent a long time on this. And in fact, with the bread, with the dough, making of the dough, it is a little time intensive, but once the dough is made, it's really quite a simple shape. All right, so I'm popping these in the oven, 350. Typically, again, with buns, these are pretty flat, so start off with 20 minutes and then go from there. The more compact your bread is going to be, the longer it's going to take to cook. And in this case, it's pretty spread out, so it shouldn't be too long. All right, I will see you after we're baked. Okay guys, my buns have come out of the oven and they look wonderful. These are just adorable. How could you not love them? Even my ugly one doesn't look so horrible. Baked up pretty well. I will be eating that one later. These took approximately 23 minutes in my oven to bake at 350. So be sure that you're checking the filling that you choose, the temperature that they're at when they go in. All of that has an impact on the length of time, but it really should only be for a couple of minutes. And if they're not browned completely to your liking, you can stick them under the broiler, but just for maybe 30 seconds to a minute to get the right color. So if anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, you can certainly drop me a line, and I really hope that you enjoyed this baking video.